Welcome to the Hannah and Fred Show with Hannah.
We're both bringing different life experiences to the table, both as interviewers and journalists.
And Fred.
We want to make sure that people are learning something, and hopefully at the end of the day that they're having fun.
Call in anytime at 877-711-5611.
Two best friends, two different sides of the world, one radio show that brings them together.
On Smart Talk.
Welcome to the Hannah and Fred Show.
Good morning. It is the Hannah and Fred Show. We are so excited to be together and to be with you. We want to wish a very happy belated birthday to America. That was yesterday, and we hope everyone had a very safe and fun and healthy holiday. Speaking of healthy, of course, this has been the premier story for all news sources and all talk shows for months and months and months, since late February and then in March when we started the shutdown. And our medical person, our doctor on call, as we like to call him for Fred and I, for the Hannah and Fred Show, is Dr. Raj Dasgupta. Hello and good morning, Dr. Raj.
Hey, Hannah, what's going on? And Fred, Hannah and Fred. I mean, how are both you guys doing today?
We are
We're both doing well.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Raj, it's been a hot minute since we've gotten a chance to talk with you. And this story seems to change bigly every 4 to 6 weeks because of the science, because of research, because of the numbers. Where are we at right now as far as potential treatments for corona, of course?
Wonderful question, Hannah. You know, I think that when you talk about treatments, you have to ask yourself, well, at what stage? Are we talking about the person who has very, mild symptoms, who comes in with these upper respiratory tract symptoms? Or are we talking about the people in my neighborhood, which is the medical ICU?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is because there was a hot story that came out around a week or two ago, and it wasn't from here in the United States. It came from our friends in the United Kingdom. And what it showed was this was actually a great trial. It had big numbers in it, so it made me really super geeked up from like a statistical standpoint, And it was the magic words. It was blinded. There was a control group. And it looked at something that we use very commonly in the States, steroids. And the name of the steroid was called dexamethasone. Now, that's a mouthful right there. And what it really focused on was people who were in the medical ICU, were really sick, were on the ventilator.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they gave them the steroids. And you could give the drug orally or through the IV. And, the end point that made me just kind of like, got me a little excited in a good way, not too excited, but a little excited, was the M word, mortality. It showed that in the individuals who were on the vent in the medical ICU, there was a decrease in mortality by, I believe, a third, which, for
That's
me,
big.
I can get you out of the ICU. I can get you off the ventilator. That's like a big win right there. So I got really excited. But, I'm going to quote one of the people I like, Dr. Fauci. He always says he's cautiously optimistic, which I like that phrase. I'm going to use it right now.
Okay. So what we're seeing is we are able to, and I'm massively paraphrasing, but we're able to save from the brink of death 1 out of every 3. So that's a big win. And that's something that already exists and that we know is relatively safe, those steroids. So what are the ICU beds doing? Are we stable across the board, or is this something that we're having? They're saying we can't have a second wave until we finished our first. We're still in our first wave, I think. So
Yeah.
So and what was you said about there was a medicine res something or another?
Oh.
Where are we at with that? Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, my God. There's so many good medical things this morning. So, Hannah, I'm going to, friendly correct you about that statistic right there.
Yes.
Because when we talk about what a drug does, we use, as dorky medical people, something called the number needed to treat. Okay? So what the study showed was in the individuals in the medical ICU on the ventilator, you had to treat 8 individuals with that dexamethasone drug to get that one reduction in mortality. I kind of like the way you pieced it together, but it wasn't 1,000% accurate. So I want to make sure we're accurate about that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But I loved your follow-up, which was awesome, which was going to be, hey, dexamethasone is cheap. You know what I mean? It's readily available. It's been around for a super long time. So we should reconsider thinking about it. And I love that you're listening to me. You're right. Because if I was going to attack COVID, I would attack it in 2 ways. Number one, the inflammation, and that's where the steroid comes from. It's an anti-inflammatory. But remdesivir, now that's a mouthful too.
Yes.
That's an antiviral, and I really feel like that's where we should be targeting things is prevent viral replication. So think of everyone heard of the name Tamiflu, right? You know what I'm saying? Like when you got the flu, Tamiflu. So that's where I think I want remdesivir to be like that because you're attacking the virus itself. Unfortunately, remdesivir is only given through the IV intravenous. So you got to be pretty sick in the hospital. But pharmaceutical companies are pretty smart. If you give them enough money, they'll come up with it. So I'm hoping that'll be the way it goes in the future.
So, Dr. Raj, one of the things that I find interesting over the last 8 weeks is doctors and through emergency rooms, you've found that some treatments work, some treatments don't work. And so I think we're finding that it's not the right thing to be putting people on ventilators right away, that it's more important to put them on 100% oxygen. And that seems to be helping certain age groups recover. What else have you learned in the last 8 weeks that you feel confident about that are giving us some hope for the future?
Fred, you got to be one of my medical students or something. You ask me better questions than half of the I love it. So the answer is I learned to be humble, first off, because I think, when this pandemic first started, we didn't know what to expect. And we know that, coronavirus now mimics a lot of different diseases. It doesn't apply by the rule book. It affects every organ in the body. And I think that one thing, if I could jump into the Back to the Future time machine, is I wouldn't be as aggressive about putting people on the ventilator because we thought we needed to do that because it's scary. You see, oxygen saturations down in the high 70s, low 80s. You're like, how on earth are you surviving? But they do somehow. And I will agree that, we've learned other things. I think we mentioned it before in one of our past shows together, putting people on their stomach. And the word is prone.
Yeah.
Is that for some reason we've done this, putting people on their stomach for something called acute respiratory distress syndrome in the past, and it kind of worked a little bit when there's good data about it. But for some reason, if you got that COVID-19 and I put you on your stomach, these patients seem to respond so much better. So, and I agree. And the reason why, Fred, I think it's a good question is because, when do I start getting teary-eyed and sad and emotional is when I see people in the ICU because you can't have any visitors. It's about protecting others, protecting yourself.
Right.
You're on this ventilator sometimes, and when you're on the ventilator, we got to sedate you, and it's sad. And I got to tell you, and to go back to Hannah's question to tie you guys together, Hannah's right. The reason why hospitals are getting kind of overloaded again is because we're not moving people out as much as we want to. People are going home. There is some light at the end of the tunnel, but once you're on the ventilator, I'm telling you, that's 2-3 weeks on that vent, and it's scary and sad. So a good way on both you guys and both your questions. I hope I answered that.
You did. Well, one of the things, so I told Hannah yesterday, it's interesting you bring some of this up. I said to Hannah yesterday, you know what? I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a sore throat and the start of a cold. And Dr. Raj, I hope you won't send me a bill for me asking this question. So I had, so it says, so I'm telling Hannah my symptoms. And the first thing, and normally I would think to myself, okay, Fred, get a piece of Kleenex and you'll be fine in a couple days. Unfortunately, the first thing I thought in my mind was, oh my God, maybe I'm starting the first symptoms of COVID-19.
Rona? Yeah.
How do we know, how do we make ourselves relax and know that not everything is COVID? How do I rationalize it in my mind so that I do the right thing?
Oh, that's great. I'm going to answer this in 2 ways. And so number one, it's a tough time. But this is another timely question, Fred, because it's allergy season. I don't know if you know that or anyone else knows that out there who's listening today. And a lot of allergy symptoms can mimic COVID, And I don't think anyone who's listening to the show is wrong by thinking, hey, if you got a scratchy throat and teary-eyed, you can't smell all of a sudden. Of course, it's what you have to worry about. But the answer is that, if you apply to what we know works, and, I have to give the generic answer here, which is social distancing, hand hygiene, and, of course, everyone's going to frown wearing the mask correctly. You're doing your part, but there's no way to distinguish. And that's why we always go back to the beginnings of the pandemic. We need to have accessible, and the key word is reliable testing. But, Fred, I want to throw an add-on to your statement, which is one thing I'm starting to see now is that some people who've had COVID earlier on in the pandemic, people recovered. A lot of people recover. And now I'm hearing a lot of people say, hey, Dr. Raj, I have this persistent fatigue. I have this persistent ache. Is it from the COVID infection? And I have this feel that COVID-19 is going to be the next Lyme disease where everyone's going to blame it on COVID. I'm not trying to be a bad doctor, but I'm going to tell you, people are going to start blaming a lot of things to COVID, So I think your question,
Dr. Raj,
there's a lot of mimickers. Yeah.
You also mentioned, and you got to be really quick here, putting the mask on the right way and taking it off the right way in 30 seconds, because we've got to go to break. What's the right way to either put it on or take it off?
Oh, you're awesome. So remember, it's a respiratory virus, so it has to cover the nose, the mouth, and the chin. And remember, if you wear those surgical masks that we get from the hospital, you can't go sweating and running in those. You got to throw them away. So I would say if you get a nice mask or 3 layers, they have the filter in it, just, wear the mask for one reason, being respectful to others and, of course, to help yourself. So those are great questions. Hope I answered that in 30 seconds.
Absolutely. Dr. Raj Dasgupta, we are thrilled to have you be our official medical contributor, our doctor on call, so to speak. Thank you. We will talk to you again next month, if not sooner. Be back on the Hannah and Fred Show right after this. Oh, I'm so excited.
Right, bye, guys.
Bye.
U.S. Pharmacy can finally give you the results you've been looking for. Why pay almost $15 per pill when you get the same results you need for less than $2? That's right. Call today and receive 66 blue pills or 66 yellow pills for only $99 plus shipping. That's less than $2 per pill and saves you hundreds from your local pharmacy. Why wait? Call 855-953-1840 and finally have those moments you've been looking for. Again and again. Call 855-953-1840 right now and we'll rush your order. Discreetly packaged to your door. Just call 855-953-1840.
Okay, good. That's what we care about.
953-1840.
It is.
Call
I really like it.
953-1840.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-976-3267. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-976-3267. That's 1-800-976-3267. 1-800-976-3267.
Gabby Road with Hannah, Fred, and Justin is brought to you by Egan Vance Insurance. Located in the northwest side of Chicago, Egan Vance Insurance has been providing coverage for nearly 30 years, specializing in business and personal insurance. They are a full-service agency committed to their clients. Your life, your work, your protection. Contact them at 773-775-0795 or at info@eganvance.com. That's EGAN Vance.com.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here, and I never exaggerate when it comes to fried chicken. But KFC Original Recipe Fried Chicken is the most delicious chicken in the history of the universe. And now you get 2 pieces of my 11 herbs and spices masterpiece as a 2-piece $5 fill-up with mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink. Or if that's not your thing, you can get one of my other $5 fill-up meals. Get a $5 fill-up delivered or at a KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Tax extra. Delivery service and additional fees apply.
If you're an alcoholic man seeking a sober living environment or know such a man, the Last Chance House may be just the place for you. Located in Crystal Lake, Illinois, Last Chance House is a nonprofit short-term residential facility for recovering alcoholic men. Established in 2005, Last Chance House provides a structured, sober living environment proven to help recovering men transition to a life of meaning and purpose. To arrange an interview for potential residency, call 815-893-0712 or visit us online at lastchancehouse.org. Last Chance House residency includes room and board for up to 10 full-time residents. Its structured, sober living environment requires that all residents have or get a sponsor, attend daily on-site 12-step meetings, become employed, and develop a rigorous recovery and exit plan with the resident manager. If you are serious and willing to do whatever it takes to recover, a call to Last Chance House may be the beginning of your new life. Find more details at lastchancehouse.org. Last Chance House, where you can begin your journey home.
Mike Jackson Outdoors, Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. on WCGO Radio, 1590 a.m. and 95.9 FM.
I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because
It is the Hannah and Fred show with Hannah and Fred, which is how that works out. Fred, how has your day gone thus far? Wait, I don't have Fred. That's not cool. So we are gonna get Fred back. Now we have Fred. There's Fred.
Hannah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You know, Hannah, it must have been all the way from Singapore to the studios in Evanston.
There's a satellite delay. I understand
was
that
a
happens.
satellite delay.
It's Mercury retrograde.
You know, I was doing the intro for this segment as we were listening to the happy
Pharrell,
music, and
yeah.
I was and I was thinking, you know what? I might just be talking to myself here, but I'm glad that that's
Maybe-
not true.
I think Sharon was there, so she heard you.
She, trust me, she in the middle of the night, nobody here is hearing me. It's only all of our friends on the Smart Talk Radio Network in America and WCGO. You know, one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot with COVID is how miserable people are. And I love when we have, you know, a doctor on, like Dr. Raj, who gives us facts about, you know, but he does it in an optimistic way about what's getting better. And yet he isn't so optimistic that he says we're out of the, you know, we're out of the war zone, we're out of the trenches, we can all go to the beach, we can all stop social distancing. So as I think about all this, I think to myself, am I happy about any of this? Am I miserable about any of this? And, you know, I think people kind of lie. I think, you know, when you ask somebody, how are you doing or how happy are you? I think people say, I'm doing okay. They put something up on Facebook which shows the color of their heart, which indicates their degree of happiness. I don't believe most of that. I think people are reasonably unhappy because their whole life circumstances have changed, and we don't really know. We're hoping that there'll be a vaccine by the end of the year or something in 2021. But until that point, we can't really see people that we want to see. We can't go to the theater. We can't really go out and socialize in the way that we've done. And so I've read this article. I don't know if you read it, Hannah. There was a great article in Inc. magazine, and it was about Bill Gates. And Bill Gates just turned 63. And I'm going to paraphrase here too, but Bill Gates basically said he's happier now at 63 than he was in his 20s and 30s. And he listed like 4 reasons of his happiness. So before we get into those 4 reasons, which I think are really interesting, if I were to ask you, and
Mhm.
remember, no one's listening, it's only you and me on the radio.
Okay, Connie Chung.
Are you happy right now? How would you answer that question?
If am I happy?
Yeah.
I think it would need to be categorized if I'm
Well,
happy.
categorize away.
So I think my health is good. My children and family's health, for the most part, good. And so I'm happy and grateful for that. Right. So I think the gratitude is more important than the happiness necessarily, because I think happiness is so relative. You know, we're trying to achieve different things. We're in a very delicate state of uncertainty. So you do have to walk around with a tremendous amount of not necessarily concern, but caution. And so that evades a little bit of happiness where
Okay,
you're
I'm gonna. You're
okay.
answering this in a very politically correct way, which
No,
I
but
appreciate.
okay.
I'm gonna ask it in a different way before
Yeah.
we get to Gates. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm the most miserable I've ever been in my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
10 is I'm the happiest and I could eat 4 quarts of my favorite flavor of ice cream.
That's usually
Where
when
are
I'm
you?
I eat ice cream when I'm sad. So,
Where,
I would put myself at probably a 6.
yeah, that's a good answer. I would
Okay.
put myself at a 5 or 6. But here's how Bill Gates what he said.
Mhm.
He said that there are 3 or 4 things that he pays attention to now that he's in his 60s that give him the ability to be happier. One of them was that he follows through way more on his commitments, which kind of means,
Okay.
as I read through the lines, that he does the things that he wants to do. And in his 20s or 30s, where he was so focused on everything Microsoft and everything connected to his business,
Mhm.
now he's really focused on his charities, and I think that's an important thing. His second thing was that he gives back to others, and in some ways, he can give back to others from a financial standpoint. But
Mhm.
even if you can't do that, you can pay it forward in lots of different ways. You can be mentors to other people. His third thing was he talked about exercise, which for me, because the gyms are closed, I started swimming laps. And what he said is it kind of gets you out of your depression and it releases some of the stress that you have. And his final thing was put family first, which means that if you're crazy about work, which you should be crazy about work, you got to set boundaries. And the boundaries have to be there's certain times when family life has to come first. And I think now during this pandemic, people are realizing that.
I agree with that in that the priorities have shifted and you realize that it's not about going out and doing things necessarily like for work and accomplishing little things. It's like the family time has been what's been so nice and having conversations with the kids and watching movies together as a family. So that part I think a lot of people have reprioritized. They're very much understanding that you can get back to nature. Everybody's describing it as an old fashioned summer because while we do have the Netflix and the indoor things that can be done and the social media, we've been doing that for months now. So everybody wants to get outside because I think there's a big overlying dark cloud in the distance that is called second quarantine. So that's where people seem to be appreciating the fresh air and the warmth a little bit more. It is, I think the concern for many is what's preventing a lot of people from being a little happier. But this might be the silver lining of this whole pandemic, could be the reprioritization.
And the
That's
truth is, it's not a black and white issue. It's always a gray issue as to how happy you're going to be based on lots of
right.
different circumstances
Yeah.
in your
And
life.
lots of things that make me happy and bring me happiness, like getting to see the kids at the school where I'm the crossing guard. I can't do that right now. So, anyway, we are going to come back with somebody who makes so many people happy. We are thrilled to have him with us. It is Rich Coase. You know him as the son of Svengoolie. It's going to be next on the Hannah and Fred Show. Stay tuned.
Small business. The Sentinel Group sponsors this paid advertisement. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. 800-383-3526. 800-383-3526.
Guys, by now, you've heard the great news. If you've wanted to try Viagra or Cialis, but were worried about the price, U.S. Pharmacy can finally give you the results you've been looking for. Why pay almost $15 per pill when you get the same results you need for less than $2? That's right.
Know that Chicagoans are getting healthier all the time? This is Peggy, and I know this is true because for 8 years I've been publishing Natural Awakenings, Chicago's greenest and healthiest magazine. And if you want your message to reach this growing market, you need to get your business in front of our readers. Why? Because our advertisers tell us that our targeted readers are committed to improving their health and they're ready to take action. That's more than 80,000 people in Chicago who will respond to your message. They're looking for holistic wellness practitioners, doctors, dentists, nutritionists, health coaches, yoga, even home improvement and landscape experts. Natural Awakenings is a free monthly magazine available in more than 1,100 locations throughout Cook, Lake, and McHenry counties. Call me today to expand your market and grow your business. 847-858-3697. That's 847-858-3697. Natural Awakenings. Feel good, live simply, laugh more.
Dahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at buysupertea.com or call 818-274-8270. That's buysupertea.com, 818-274-8270, buysupertea.com.
Blue Star medicated ointment gets 5-star reviews from our loyal users for fast relief of the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation.
Blue Star soothes insect bites and fungal infections.
It really works on the summer rashes I get every year.
I had psoriasis on my elbows. Blue Star worked wonders.
Amazing stuff. Smear a bit on and the itch is gone.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast or your money back.
Don't drop your coffee mug. Just tune in to Gabby Road with Hannah, Fred, and Justin.
Sunday mornings at 11 on WCGO AM and FM.
And we are back with more of the Hannah and Fred Show on WCGO AM and FM. Of course, you know that. We're on the Smart Talk radio network across the United States. And with us this afternoon, or this morning still,
yes,
is a person who you know, Hannah, as Rich Coase.
Yes.
He's known across the United States. Don't be so excited. Just wait till we get to talk to him for a minute, Hannah. You know that he's on MeTV Network from Berwyn, Illinois. No, he's really on from Berwyn.
Yes.
And of course, we're talking to Sven Gulli. But Hannah, I'm not sure that you know all about Rich. Rich Coase has won more awards for his work, count this, 8 Emmy Awards, the Chicago TV Academy Silver Circle induction in 2000, I believe, and 4, the Rondo Award 9 times as favorite horror host. In 2011, Svengoolie went nationwide, as we said, on MeTV Network. With 40 years plus, Sven has made himself part of a comic book strip. He has his own Svengoolie figurine. He's driven the Zamboni at the Blackhawks game.
Life
he
goal.
Gets keys. He gets keys from cities wherever he goes. People will wait hours to see him. And can you imagine the kind of schedule that Svengoolie / Rich Coase has when it comes to Halloween?
Oh, goodness.
So with that introduction, Rich Coase, welcome to the Hannah and Fred Show. How are you this morning?
Doing great. It's nice to talk to you guys. It's funny, Fred, that you bring up Halloween, because this year, with the way, things have been going in the world, with Halloween on a Saturday, you'd think that would be so perfect.
Yes.
I'll bet this year that I probably will not end up even doing one appearance.
Well, you might do virtual appearances, because if you think, Hannah, the thing that I love about Svengoolie and I love about Rich that I've seen many a time in person is that when he goes out to an event, there are thousands upon thousands of people that are waiting in line for hours, that streets are blocked, that police cars, he's got an executive producer whose name is Jim Roach.
Yes.
And Jim goes through all these fine details with the security staff, with the police department, to make sure that Svengoolie gets in to where he needs to be. So, Rich, as you look back on an illustrious career, which really for you started at Northwestern University when you were just getting your taste of your comic genius, or I should say, other people were getting your taste of your comic genius. Walk us through how this Svengoolie thing started for you, and then how it became Son of Svengoolie.
Oh, well, actually, it all began when I was at Northwestern. That was at about the time that my mentor and the original Svengoolie, Jerry G. Bishop, had just started, being the voiceover announcer on duty during horror movies on a Friday night. And he was just starting to create his character, and he would read, jokes and things that people had sent in. I'd been a fan of his for a long time. I would send in stuff to him, and as he was going along and developed the show, and it went from just being voiceover to being on camera, he needed more material. And when he found out, that I was a broadcast student and saw, some of the stuff I was writing for him, he would ask for specific stuff. This led to me actually, working with him, not only on the Svengoolie show, the original show, but also when he went to radio. And, we worked together, and it was his idea for me to become the son of Svengoolie. Originally, it was one of his friends had run something by him about maybe bringing back his Svengoolie character, which he hadn't done in a couple years, as a summer fill-in type thing. And he didn't want to do it. He said, yeah, but you can do it. And I was immediately flattered that he thought, I'd be able to handle it. And that eventually led to him, when he headed out to San Diego, asking me what I was going to do. And everybody I'd been working with had gone to the West Coast. And I said, well, I'm going to try to shop around, maybe the idea for a TV show or something. He said, I tell you what, if you want to try the Son of Svengoolie thing, you have my blessing. And that was where it all started. I shopped it around. It eventually ended up on WSLD and just took off from there.
Yeah, it is. You're so humble to say it took off from there, because as Fred alluded to, it is one of the longest running and definitely most popular programs that has been in Chicago now with national reach. But it is really the most pressing question is, how long does it take to do your eye makeup? No, I'm kidding.
It is not easy. That's definitely. I always thought about just getting like a stencil and using a roller. But the whole makeup process when I first started took maybe about 50 minutes, and now I've got it down to maybe about a half hour, because I found shortcuts to it. And the worst part is taking it all off.
Yes. Oh,
it's
you're
it's a difficult thing.
you're preaching to the choir there. No, it is interesting, and I do want to reference. You can follow us, by the way, at Hannah Fred Show on all social media. But one of our Facebook listeners or followers asked the question, "Where did Berwin originate from?"
Oh, that started with Jerry when he was the original Svengoolie. When he was starting up, Roland Martin and Johnny Carson were doing beautiful downtown Burbank, like small town jokes. And he wanted to do the same thing. And also, unbeknownst to me at the time, when he was on air in Cleveland as a radio personality, that was when Ernie Anderson, who was the announcer on the Carol Burnett show, was in Cleveland and did a similar hosted TV thing. And he made fun of a suburb called Parma.
Yes.
And so Jerry combined these two things. I was trying to think, what could we do? And at the time, he felt that Berwyn was best known for Ogden Avenue having savings and loans and used car lots, and for the yearly parade in honor of the mushroom in the fall. So he figured this should be it. And I just, picked up the torch from him.
Where do you get the most satisfaction? Because when you work, it appears that there's a big, there's a huge combination of the things that you do. You're a performer, you're a writer, you're a comic actor. Is there one part of the whole process that you love more than any other part?
I'd have to say that as far as when putting things together, it's like when I do the song parody things, when the words really work with what was originally in the song, and it comes together and the wordplay is really good. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the whole show when we do that. And the other part is, quite honestly, when we're doing the show, people are thinking, oh, do you try out the material before you do it? And I've never done that. And I just write what I think is going to make me laugh. And it's the same thing. When we're doing this stuff in the studios, Fred, you've been there, it's the stuff that makes me and my crew laugh. And I think that, it's just using that sense that the home viewers will have the same opinion of it.
How do you keep yourself from getting burned out? Because each week you're like at a 10 in
intensity
in the material that you're writing, and I'm like, oh my God, is Rich / Svengoolie ever going to take a vacation so we can recharge? How do you keep it? How do you keep it at that level all the time? And do you ever get burned out?
There's times when I start to feel like it, yeah. But the one thing I've learned, and I guess, that's something that a lot of people rely on, is just the fact that you learn to just kind of keep your mind open at all times. Because people say, oh, where do your ideas come from? And ideas come from everywhere. You never know what's going to spark it. So it's kind of, I guess it's something I've learned to do, is to always just have part of my brain open to grab at little things that I might, experience or see or read that can keep things going. And I think that's the other thing. You stay exposed to everything. You read, you watch TV, you watch movies, and you listen to what people say. And it's like that's how you cull everything. You just got to keep up with everything. You can't just sit alone at home and just go, well, here's another joke.
That's the improv probably in you, because that's a very much yes and mindset where you go, okay, this is in front of me and now I'm going to react. How many shows are you taping at one time?
Oh, it varies a lot, Hannah. Sometimes, depending on what we've got coming up, it'll be as many as maybe 3 that we're working on.
Wow.
And we try to get all that, everything for the next month or so done in each month's taping. So it varies a lot. And sometimes we have older shows that we want to, fix up a little bit and add some new stuff to. So it's always an ongoing process. People have said, oh, it must be great now. You're just sitting at home and doing nothing. And it's like, no, I'm afraid that's not how it works. We're already working on stuff going all the way into the end of August and early September. So we're trying to keep, and it's not easy. We've been shooting some stuff at home. My wife is thrilled. We've been shooting in our bedroom here because that's the only room that really seems to work for it. But it's an odd experience, and I hope hope we'll get back in the studio very soon.
Absolutely. And as far as maybe the Halloween appearances, remember the Pope Mobile? Maybe we just need to get you a Svengoolie mobile, like a bubble. We'll just roll you in a coffin-shaped bubble, and then you can still do appearances. People can
That
come
sounds like a
close
great
to you.
idea.
I'll work on it.
And as it goes by the crowd, it'll have a little thing on top that sprays hand sanitizer
Yes,
on everyone.
that would be fantastic. And then the duck will or the chicken will swing around on the top. I've got some plexi at home. I'll work on this. We are going to come back with Rich Coase, who is, you know him as son of Svengoolie, next on the Hannah and Fred Show.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here. When it's time to eat, there's nothing more comforting than comfort food you don't have to cook. So get a $20 fill-up from KFC. Choose from 8 pieces of original recipe, extra crispy chicken, or 12 tenders. It comes with
Hey,
all
Nancy.
the fixins to feed your whole family. Order ahead at KFC.com. KFC drive-thrus are still open, or stay in and get contactless
Yes.
delivery by Grubhub.
So anything you want me to do on the Zoom, because it keeps saying the same thing.
Yeah, I'm checking it, and I don't know what the issue is, but I did talk to Novak, and I don't think it's him because
Okay.
they said they're off. So I don't know what other meeting is, so I'm going to run around the building and see if there's another meeting started somewhere.
No problem. Is Andy in the building?
He is. He's been working.
Because I think Andy, why don't you ask Andy, just,
Oh, he's been working on it too. He has no
okay,
clue.
whenever.
Yes, sorry.
It's not a big deal.
No,
No big deal.
It is. We want to get it fixed. We just don't know why.
Going
No
forward, you'll have
worries.
this, like Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, cool. Now I understand. Okay, cool.
One 1840. That's 855-953-1840. Call 855-953-1840.
Do you know that Chicagoans are getting healthier all the time? This is Peggy, and I know this is true because for 8 years I've been publishing Natural Awakenings, Chicago's greenest and healthiest magazine. And if you want your message to reach this growing market, you need to get your business in front of our readers. Why? Because our advertisers tell us that our targeted readers are committed to improving their health and they're ready to take action. That's more than 80,000 people in Chicago who will respond to your message. They're looking for holistic wellness practitioners, doctors, dentists, nutritionists, health coaches, yoga, even home improvement and landscape experts. Natural Awakenings is a free monthly magazine available in more than 1,100 locations throughout Cook, Lake, and McHenry counties. Call me today to expand your market and grow your business. 847-858-3697. That's 847-858-3697. Natural Awakenings. Feel good, live simply, laugh more.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here, and I never exaggerate when it comes to fried chicken. But KFC Original Recipe Fried Chicken is the most delicious chicken in the history of the universe.
Yeah,
And
I
now
know.
you
I
get
keep
2 pieces
hearing
of my
it.
11
It's
herbs
my
and
radio
spices
ears.
masterpiece as a 2-piece $5 fill-up with mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink. Or if that's not your thing, you can get one of my other $5 fill-up meals. Get a $5 fill-up delivered or at a KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Tax extra. Delivery service and additional fees apply.
We don't know.
This is Eric G. from Around the House, where we talk home improvement every Saturday. And you're listening to WCGO, Chicago Smart Talk, AM 1590 and FM 95.9.
Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
I got all excited for a second. thinking that that was our new intro for the Hannah and Fred show, and then I realized it's already taken. Rich Coase joins Hannah, me, and Fred right now currently and continues. And hey, we wanted to acknowledge the fact that one, Rich, you are not just son of Svengoolie. You have you have a life outside of this. Tell us what you do on days when you aren't dressed up as son of Svengoolie.
well, there's a lot of different stuff that I do. A lot of it is preparation for the show, obviously, both pre and post production. But I spend a lot of time with my family. I've had the opportunity to work on some comic books. I was very proud to do the Svengoolie meets the DC Universe comic book, and we work on music and a lot of other things. I've done commercial work in the past, and I like to draw too. So there's a lot of fun stuff that we do, and a lot of it is incorporated into the show.
And do you ever sit home and, I picture you sitting at home trying to find a horror movie that you haven't seen and going, oh my God, I've seen every horror movie. How did you even get started with the horror movie part?
Well, I was always, it's funny because when I was a real small kid, I was afraid of everything. Everything scared me. I was afraid of the dark. Much less. And the first time we were going to watch King Kong, I remember when I was a little kid, I was actually terrified because I thought it was going to be so horrible, but I immediately loved it. And then, went from that to, really seeking out horror movies, like you said. And I was always a fan of them. I remember when I was in high school, I'd stay up late on Sunday nights because NBC here in Chicago, late at night, would run some horror movies. And, it'd be the thing of sneaking out of bed and turning on the TV real low so we wouldn't wake up my parents. But, I had a love of that. And then, it was a combination of the whole horror movie thing and performing and doing shtick that just came together so perfectly with the whole Svengoolie thing.
One of the things that people say about Rich is he is so humble. And he really is, and I've known Rich for more years than I'm gonna admit. But he's one of the most humble people that you'll ever want to meet. But Rich, is there ever a time when you're sitting alone, you've just finished putting your makeup on, or you're being driven to your next event, and you look into the rearview mirror and you see Svengoolie there, and you go, "Hey world, I'm Svengoolie."
No, actually, Fred, it's pretty overwhelming and amazing to me that that we've reached the heights that we have, and it's just I'm very grateful for it, and I'm glad that it's something that will help, that I can provide for my family, and that I get to have a job that it's work, but it's also a lot of fun and very rewarding. So it just I'm just very grateful for all of it, and the fact that I've made it through some health crises and have managed to still be alive. That helps too. But no, it's very cool. It's like all still kind of unbelievable to me.
So what's left on your bucket list? What's something that you want to do that you haven't had a chance to do yet?
People talk about that all the time. I think we've talked about maybe doing more stuff as far as comics. People always say, "Oh, you should write a book," and it's like, yeah, when I have time, that'd be great. It's just I'd be happy if this just continues for a few more years, and then I can retire and just enjoy the rest of my life.
So I have to buy Hannah some Christmas presents this year, and she's going to be nagging at me about some Svengoolie Christmas presents. So for the whole world that wants all the Svengoolie stuff that they can get from the figurines that are Svengoolie figurines to the hoodies to lots of different things, if they want some of that stuff, where do they go to get it?
All you got to do is go to our website, www.svengoolie.com, and click on the store there, or go to www.metv.com and click on the store there. All the stuff is there. And right now, one of the hot things is the Svengoolie stay-at-home box. So if you're still staying at home, there's a lot of.
Wait a minute.
little things in there
What
that
you
are-
got it
Yeah,
now? You've got to
what's in
explain what is
that?
that.
It's a box that's full of all sorts of little like puzzles and games, and even like a slinky. There's an activity book. There's a Sven sort of Rubik's cube. A whole bunch of different stuff, so that if you're just going to be staying in a little more than normal, it's stuff to help amuse you.
All this time when I was buying puzzles on eBay, all I had to do was go to Svengoolie and get the merge, and I could have had a Svengoolie puzzle. Probably our last question, but I want to talk to you about the breadth of these horror movies that you present. Are you a bigger fan when they're campier, or are you a bigger fan to be scared?
I have to say, I do like the ones that are really good and really well made, but it's a lot of fun to have the ones that are kind of, maybe not the best quality.
Yeah, like the B film.
Easier. Sure, the ones that just beg for you to, kind of have fun with them.
Yeah,
So,
I love it when
it's hard to say which I like more.
I love it when I can see a boom mic in the reflection of the mirror where we're supposed to be very scared.
Sure.
This is just silly. Hand me a notebook. I have to write down all the reasons that this movie is terrible. Yeah, those are the ones I think are the most fun. Are those the ones that are easier to present and have fun with?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It just depends.
All right.
So, Rich, on Saturday nights, when Svengoolie's about to come on the air all around the country, do you make your wife and daughter sit with you and watch it?
No, actually, the nice thing is they want to see it. Because usually I've been living with this show for
weeks
that's
and
going to
weeks.
come on for weeks, and to them it's all new. So they actually the good thing is they laugh at the right times.
That is tremendous. If you were to estimate, and this is, I want to know this because sometimes Fred thinks we're not putting enough time into the show. If you were to estimate how much time you put into every episode, what would that number be?
It's real hard for me to do that because the fact that we're working on one show before we tape it, and then working on the stuff for the show after we've already shot it. So it's hard to say. It's such an ongoing process. And, I'm doing both of those things at the same time. So basically, it's like, I work every day of the week at least, even a little bit on the weekends a lot of times. It's hard to really quantify it.
Yeah.
So people, go ahead, Hannah, finish
No,
up.
I
Sorry.
was going to say people don't understand that to do a 2-hour radio show or however long, it just, there's so much to it. On and on every single day. So I wondered if you would be able to quantify that. Fred, you go ahead. We've got about 45
He works all the
seconds.
time. With 35 seconds, this is going to be a really fast answer. People are starstruck by you,
Yes.
Rich. Name one person that you've been starstruck by.
Boy, just one is difficult. Obviously, Mark Hamill, who I got an email from out of nowhere. Just recently, Joe Mantegna, who I didn't know has been a fan for years, and ended up calling me at home and talking to me. There's any number of people that I'm just blown away by the fact that they actually like what I do.
All right. So Luke Skywalker is a fan of Svengoolie. This just in on the Hannah and Fred show. We will have this interview up on our social media and on our podcast as well. Thanks to Rich Coe's, everybody's favorite Svengoolie. We will be back with Hannah and Fred more after this.
Something for you. CNBC.com/small business. The latest on relief programs, loan forgiveness, tax help, and state-by-state updates. Protect your business. Get advice. We're here to help. Go to cnbc.com/small business.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 833-RocketMortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Smart Talk on WCGO and 95.9 FM.
Your home to radio that inspires.
W240EH, Evanston, Chicago.
she immediately had me drop my old agent, and she spent the next year turning work down for me because, in her words, Mr. Dioria doesn't do under 5. And under 5 means under 5 lines.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so she poisoned my name with every casting director in Hollywood, and then dumped me because she said, "Well, you just can't get work in this town,"
Ay.
which was very distressing because at that point, people would go on the Tonight Show and their careers would take off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling very depressed, and the last thing she said to me was, "You know, they're holding auditions for Close of the Clown in Chicago. I can get you in on that." And I told her not to bother. I was really fed up with her at that point. And I left. And a few days later, I was driving through Hollywood, driving by KTLA, and I saw a line that must have stretched for 3 blocks with mimes, jugglers, ex-clowns, Venice Beach street entertainers, all lining up to audition for Al Hall, who was the producer, who would come to L.A. to work with people. And I thought to myself, well, I'm sure glad I'm not in that line. Anyway, the auditions came and went, and about another month went by, and I was trying to figure out what to do next with my career, which was now in tatters. And my wife read an article in which it was been reposted from the New York Times about the fact that they haven't been able to find what they were looking for. They were getting lots of calls from ex-clowns and mimes and jugglers and regular street entertainers, but these were people who couldn't talk, who didn't know verbal comedy. They knew physical comedy. And my wife said, you know, they're saying here they want somebody who knows old vaudeville and burlesque comedy. They did everything but put your name in this article. So I sent Al Hall the Tonight Show videotape that I had, and within 3 weeks, they called me in to audition. I came in. They put me in one of Bob Bell's old costumes, and I was to, do a bozo show with Roy Brown and Fraser Thomas.
Yes.
And I figured it was just going to be an audition, but as they're putting the makeup on me, Roy Brown comes into the dressing room and says, "Hey, this is going to be the biggest audience we've had for an audition yet," and left. And they literally filled the studio with moms and dads and boys and girls. And I thought they're going, nobody told me I was going to have to do this in front of a live audience. And at first I was a little annoyed, but then I thought, well, what the heck? I'm in clown makeup. If I mess up, these people will never see me again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Hannah, Joey, one of the things that I think is so cool is when if you're lucky enough to have had the opportunity to be in the studio while you were doing one of your shows. Yes, it was a kid show and it appealed to lots and lots of kids, but there were so many jokes that also had this second tier where not only did it appeal to a youngster, but some of the stuff went over the youngsters' heads, and the adults were sitting in the audience laughing about it because it was so funny in the things that you would say, either from an ad-lib standpoint or you thought, I'm going to make this work for adults too.
Well, yes. In fact, Roy Brown used to sort of bridle when people referred to it as a kid's show. He said, we're a family show. And we were. The whole family enjoyed, and which is, I think, is what made WGN's Bozo show unique from any other Bozo show that went on from coast to coast. I'll give you an example of one of those jokes for an adult. We were doing a bit where Bozo was a pie inspector, and Cookie would be baking a pie, and he'd take it out of the oven, and he'd put it on the stove to cool. I would come in, blow a whistle. I would hold a little device over the pie, and a little bell would go off, and I'd go, nope, too much flour, and I'd destroy the pie. And then I'd leave. And then Cookie took another pie out of the oven. I came in, blew the whistle, held the device over the pie, and went, nope, too much meringue. And I banged the pie and destroyed it. And Roy's getting angry. Cookie's getting angrier and angrier. Finally, I come in the third time. He puts the third pie down. I put the device over the pie, and Roy goes crazy. How dare you destroy all of my pies? What's wrong with this one? I went, too much vanilla extract. And he starts ranting, and I wait for him to stop, and I hold the device in front of his mouth, and the bell goes off again, and I go, yep, too much vanilla extract.
Very funny. So Joey, Hannah wants to ask you this question, but she's too chicken. So so she put it on my cards to ask you. So on the last day of the Bozo show, as you're wiping your makeup off and you're taking off your red nose and your shoes, what did you steal from the Bozo stuff that is now in your closet in California?
Well, the only thing that I have is the nose.
That's a good thing to have.
That is a good thing to have.
The interesting thing about the nose is that most clowns' noses are made out of latex rubber. This was an interesting tradition that started with Bob Bell. On one of the first Bozo shows that they did, they had everything there, but they didn't have the nose. They had the costume, they had the wigs, they had the shoes, but they didn't have a nose. And they're panicking. The audience is being loaded in. That, was going to be loaded in that afternoon. And no one knew what to do. So they went to the woodworking department, and one of the workmen there took a block of balsa wood, filed it, used a sander to get it in that unique sort of oval-shaped ball, painted it red, put through 2 holes and some fish line and a bit of elastic in the back to fit over his head. And Bob Bell's first nose was made out of balsa wood.
Unbelievable.
And all of the noses from that point on were made out of balsa wood.
Unbelievable.
So,
Joey
Hannah,
Dioria.
how do you breathe out of balsa wood?
There were holes.
Oh, there were holes. Oh.
There were holes.
Poor old Bozo was a mouth breather.
We are going to continue with Joey Dioria, famous for many, many things, but Bozo is the one that's closest to my heart. More with him on the Hannah and Fred Show right after this.
Or Cialis, but we're worried about the price? U.S. Pharmacy can finally give you the results you've been looking for. Why pay almost $15 per pill when you get the same results you need for less than $2? That's right. Call today and receive 66 blue pills or 66 yellow pills for only $99 plus shipping. That's less than $2 per pill and saves you hundreds from your local pharmacy. Why wait? Call 855-953-1840 and finally have those moments you've been looking for. Again and again. Call 855-953-1840 right now and we'll rush your order, discreetly packaged to your door. Just call 855-953-1840. That's 855-953-1840. Call 855-953-1840.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-976-3267. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-976-3267. That's 1-800-976-3267. 1-800-976-3267.
If you're an alcoholic man seeking a sober living environment or know such a man, the Last Chance House may be just the place for you. Located in Crystal Lake, Illinois, Last Chance House is a nonprofit short-term residential facility for recovering alcoholic men. Established in 2005, Last Chance House provides a structured, sober living environment proven to help recovering men transition to a life of meaning and purpose. To arrange an interview for potential residency, call 815-893-0712 or visit us online at lastchancehouse.org. Last Chance House residency includes room and board for up to 10 full-time residents. Its structured, sober living environment requires that all residents have or get a sponsor, attend daily on-site 12-step meetings, become employed, and develop a rigorous recovery and exit plan with the resident manager. If you are serious and willing to do whatever it takes to recover, a call to Last Chance House may be the beginning of your new life. Find more details at lastchancehouse.org. Last Chance House, where you can begin your journey home.
Ever get the feeling that a clean car just runs and drives better than a dirty car? That's because it's true. Evanston Car Wash has been serving the North Shore communities for over 60 years, helping hundreds of thousands of cars stay clean, preserve their value, and give you a nice, clean ride. Not only will Evanston Car Wash make your ride sparkle, but they use a soft cloth that doesn't risk damage to your vehicle's surface. A car is one of your major expenses, so don't trust it to just anyone with suds in a bucket. Treat it right by taking it to the Evanston Car Wash. Pick from a variety of car wash packages starting at just $8, and you can save even more money by joining their membership program. Evanston Car Wash is open every single day. That's 7 days a week at 8 a.m. Located right there on Dempster Street, just east of McCormick. For full details on custom wash and detail packages, just Google Evanston's Best Car Wash, and Evanston Car Wash will pop right up. Evanston Car Wash, the North Shore's #1 car wash choice for over 60 years.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Chicago Smart Talk, AM 1590 and FM 95.9, the exclusive home for the Dave Ramsey Show in Chicago.
Well, we got a whole bunch of great kids here, and we're going to play our Snatch the Bacon game. Let's meet our players. Right here is the blue team. Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Brian.
Brian. Ann.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Ann.
Joyce.
Billy. Ann.
Jessica.
Jessica. Ann.
Anthony.
Ann.
Kim.
Kim. All right, and over here we have the orange team. La 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 la. Ann.
Paul.
Paul. Ann.
Jacqueline.
Ann.
Robbie.
Ann.
Sarah.
Ann.
Richie.
And
Kristen.
all right, stay behind your number.
Oh. I kept listening for me. I was hoping that was me. It is the Hannah and Fred show with Hannah. And guess what? Fred. We are also joined by Joey Dioria, who is one of our beloved bozos here in the Chicagoland area and those beyond. When WGN was telecasting that, they were telecasting their entire signal, but Joey was a big portion of that franchise, that empire. So thank you, Joey, for sticking with us. We appreciate it.
Here.
Oh, my goodness. So one of the things that I was thrilled, and Fred knows this, we referenced the fact that Bozo was designed to be a family show. And one of my guilty pleasures is sometimes my husband will walk in the room and I will be watching kids shows on TV without the kids. One of them is Curious George because it's just so calming and there's little jazz music in the background. And it's just one of those things that I can kind of start my day, plan my stuff, and Curious George is on in the background. You happen to play a lot of voices on Curious George because you do so much voice work in animation. Was this something you were doing before you did Bozo, or is this something you've shifted into later in your career?
No, actually, this was something that I did before. Back before I got Bozo, I used to work with a bunch of people, and we did what they call looping, which means they would take foreign cartoons and we would dub them from whatever the original language was into English. A lot of them were Japanese or Korean cartoons. One was a Spanish cartoon called The Three Musketeers, in which the Three Musketeers were three dogs. And I didn't get any of the main characters. I got about a dozen peripheral villagers and peasants. And one day, I got this panicked call from my friend who was the director and said, "You know all of those different voices you did?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "They all come to petition the king." And they were all in line, and I had to remember each voice I did for the duck and the pig and the chicken and the cow, for which was hysterical.
Oh my
God. Well, when Joey, when you left the Bozo Show and you moved to California, was it like culture shock to be in the LA environment and to be an actor going after different kinds of roles at that point?
No, not really. Not really. I knew what I was getting into. I tried to stay in Chicago. My wife and I love Chicago. It's the greatest city in the world. We love it. But unfortunately, I couldn't get any work here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, while I had a lot of publicity going for me with the Bozo Show ending, I used it to get in touch with a lot of my old voiceover friends, and they found work for me. I ended up writing for a children's television show called Betsy's Kindergarten Adventures, and that had a lot of very talented people. It had Tom Bosley,
oh wow,
and it had Cree Williams, and it had Nancy Cartwright, who you may know as the voice of Bart Simpson.
Yes,
and Willard, and I would write shows, but I would write in peripheral characters, and then go, "Well, we can't get anyone to do that voice." I said, "I can do it."
Yes.
So I started back in writing parts for myself within the show.
It worked for Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yes.
Exactly. And as a result, when the agent for some of these actors showed up one day and heard me, she said, "Who represents you?" And I said, "Well, I'm currently between agents." And she signed me. So I've been with CESD in California ever since.
So let's take a serious moment for a second and talk about acting in the pandemic. So clearly theaters are not open. Some may just start to be open. What do you, during this period of time, as you've had an opportunity to just close your eyes and look and say, how is the theater going to be safe from both an actor standpoint and as far as social distancing goes? When the pandemic started to get worse and worse, did you think, I'm going to be out of business forever? Or have you and your other colleagues gotten together in some way and said, okay, this is how we're going to bring back the industry?
Well, I've done a few things. I've done a number of theatrical pieces here in the Los Angeles area and in Anchorage, Alaska. Wow. Just before the pandemic hit, I had just been cast by a theater company called 3D Theatricals down in Orange County. And the day we were supposed to start rehearsals, they put the lockdown on everything. We were all supposed to be what is it? I forgot the word. Quarantine.
Yes.
And once everybody went into quarantine, there was no way to go about this. Now we all got letters from the producers saying, "You've been cast. We're going to open with this show when the theaters reopen, but that may not be until January of 2021." So
Joey Dioria joins us on the Hannah and Fred Show. Joey, we've got about 30 seconds left. Tell us your favorite role you've ever played.
Well, I got to play Max Prince in Laughter on the 23rd Floor in Chicago at the Briar Street Theater. That was a wonderful opportunity and a great show.
And a great place to see theater. Hopefully that will be opening up for audiences again soon. Joey, we look forward to your next work. We will have you on again. Thank you so much for your time. And we will have this interview up on our podcast at Hannah and Fred Show.
Famous clown Bozo. And now here's
is bozo.
You're looking for answers, solutions, help. We see you. We hear you. We have something for you. CNBC.com/small business. The latest on relief programs, loan forgiveness, tax help, and state-by-state updates. Protect your business. Get advice. We're here to help. Go to CNBC.com/small business.
The Sentinel Group sponsors this paid advertisement. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. 800-383-3526. 800-383-3526.
For small business owners, it's not business as usual. Amid the crisis, you're looking for answers, solutions, help. We see you. We hear you. We have something for you. CNBC.com/small business. The latest on relief programs, loan forgiveness, tax help, and state-by-state updates. Protect your business. Get advice. We're here to help. Go to CNBC.com/small business.
The Sentinel Group sponsors this paid advertisement. Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? Zantac may be linked to these cancers: bladder, colorectal, esophageal, intestinal, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, stomach, testicular, and uterine. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months, call now. Never stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. Call right now for a free consultation. 800-383-3526. 800-383-3526.
Do you know that Chicagoans are getting healthier all the time? This is Peggy, and I know this is true because for 8 years I've been publishing Natural Awakening, Chicago's greenest and healthiest magazine. And if you want your message to reach this growing market, you need to get your business in front of our readers. Why? Because our advertisers tell us that our targeted readers are committed to improving their health and they're ready to take action. That's more than 80,000 people in Chicago who will respond to your message. They're looking for holistic wellness practitioners, doctors, dentists, nutritionists, health coaches, yoga, even home improvement and landscape experts. Natural Awakenings is a free monthly magazine available in more than 1,100 locations throughout Cook, Lake, and McHenry counties. Call me today to expand your market and grow your business. 847-858-3697. That's 847-858-3697. Natural Awakenings. Feel good, live simply, laugh more.
Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at buysupertea.com or call 818-274-8270. That's buysupertea.com, 818-274-8270, buysupertea.com.
Blue Star medicated ointment gets 5-star reviews from our loyal users for fast relief of the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation.
Blue Star soothes insect bites and fungal infections.
It really works on the summer rashes I get every year.
I had psoriasis on my elbows. Blue Star worked wonders.
Amazing stuff. Smear a bit on and the itch is gone.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast or your money back.
Hey, it's JT and Leanne. Join us for the Heart and Home radio show, brought to you by Exit Realty.
Sundays at 4 p.m. on Smart Talk.
WCGO, AM and FM.
Mr. Secretary. Mr. Bird, sir. And did you hear the news about good old General Mercer?
No.
You know Claremont Street?
Yeah.
They renamed it after him. The Mercer legacy is secure.
Sure.
and all he had to do was die.
Yeah, that's a lot less work.
We ought to give it a try. Now, how you gonna get your
talk
death
less,
plan through?
smile more.
I guess I'm gonna
That is
finally
what
have to
the
listen to
words of Hamilton and Mr. Burr, sir, have taught us. So many people have watched Hamilton. That was released 2 days ago on the Disney Plus streaming service. You are listening, by the way, to Hannah and Fred Show. If you're not currently watching Hamilton, our friend from the New York Post, Johnny Olicinski, who is the entertainment critic. Welcome, Mr. Johnny Olicinski, and thank you for joining us this fine Sunday.
Thank you, Hannah and Fred. Always a pleasure.
Well, do we have numbers on how many gazillion people watched or downloaded, or I don't even know what the right phrase is for Hamilton?
We don't yet, so it's somewhat unusual. So with box office figures, usually for movies, we have Box Office Mojo, all of that stuff.
Yes,
is independently sourced. It's not that the studios release their own figures. Whereas with Disney Plus, it's a Netflix and Hulu. It's all somewhat mysterious. I would suspect that Disney will want to brag about this because this is the first really big title that they've dropped on. Because Hamilton was going to be released in a normal movie theater.
Yes,
and we would have gone to see Indiana Jones, and then there'd be 10 screenings of Hamilton.
Right.
But instead, it's on Disney Plus. So I think they're going to want to say, we added this many million new subscribers. My big question, though, is I think there's a lot of overlap between all the people that raced to download Disney Plus last November, who love Pocahontas and all the Disney musicals, and fans of Hamilton. So I'm wondering if, a lot of the Hamilton fans already had Disney Plus before this. So we'll see if they make back the $75 million they spent on this.
75 million is what they paid to get the streaming rights for this?
They did. And, I've said this somewhat controversially before. So I, reviewed Hamilton last week, and I love the show, but it still, to me, looks a lot like any sort of live from the Lincoln Center thing you see on PBS, like The King and I or something like that. Movie-wise, that it's just a filmed production of a show. They filmed the show, and then Disney dropped $75 million to broadcast it.
Wow.
So as you're watching it at home, were you thinking to yourself, this is the wave of the future? And as I saw many of the comments on social media, a lot of the comments were, I've seen Hamilton 8 times at a theater, either on Broadway or in the West End, and I loved it sitting at home and watching it. And then I saw other comments that said, I've seen it all these times in the theater, and I hate it watching it at home. It just wasn't the same feel. Do you see this is the feel of the future because theaters aren't going to open up that quickly?
Well, I think Hamilton is such a unique situation because, like I said, so many shows are filmed regularly, but a lot of people don't realize, say, that Billy Elliot the musical was filmed for PBS. You could buy the DVD if you want, because there's just never been, probably since Rent maybe, or A Chorus Line in the 70s, such a cultural revolution around one show. So I think it would probably not be in the best interest of some of these Broadway productions to film themselves and release it. Though I did watch something really cool over the weekend. There's a show called Lungs, starring Claire Foy and Matt Smith, famously of The Crown.
The Crown.
Being together again, and they're doing the show at the Old Vic. The Old Vic in London, like all the theaters around the world, is having a lot of money problems right now. So they came together to do it socially distanced on Zoom for an entire week of performances from the stage of the actual theater. And I paid, $50 to watch it, and it was great. So I'm kind of loving these innovative ways of getting actors paid and getting all these behind the scenes people making the money that they're going to be losing. Broadway's closed now until January of 2021 at least.
Yeah, so it seems very interesting to me because this is, like you said, it was Lin-Manuel Miranda, who of course is the creator of Hamilton, has called this the best rehearsed movie ever because it was filmed as a series of performances, but they'd already done these performances like hundreds of times at this point. So they had the forethought to film it. I think he said that they filmed 5 different productions to be sure that they caught all of the possible angles they would want when they would want to do this. However, to get new productions out for us, right, without, they would still need to perform them, which is what you experienced. But for us to be able to see something that's new and fresh, they'd still have to go on stage and do it. When are they suspecting that we're going to go back into production for movies and television? Because we know theater is a distant hope.
So movies and TV is looking a lot better. One great thing about that is that you can film movies and television from anywhere, right? Whereas theater obviously has to be done in front of you. So, like Avatar is got permission from the government of New Zealand, which has now been famously
COVID-free,
so efficient and strong in dealing with this. And so James Cameron and Sam Worthington and all the other stars of Avatar are going back there, and they're going to actually keep their production schedule and I think released in 2021. I believe that Jurassic World Dominion has just gone back into production in England. So things are getting moving. I do think, some of these TV shows we like might be starting up a couple months after the ones that film in the U.S. But things are looking up. I was just remembering, I'm not sure if you guys saw that great movie 1917 last year, but to put it in perspective, that began filming last May and finished in November. So, we really have lost a big block of time for movies and TV.
So being a movie critic and a theater critic, has this pandemic been a torturous experience for you from a movie and a theater standpoint, or has it been refreshing in that you've gotten to sit at home and you've gotten to watch things that you haven't been able to see for a long time and maybe see them in a different light? How has it been for you?
Well, it's funny you should say that because I'm currently on a deck in North Carolina, which is not something that the New York Post critic can normally say.
Yes.
But I really do believe that the best movie experiences with a big screen, even if that, means a screening room. So watching all of these screeners on my laptop instead, or even on, my much smaller television, it just takes away some of the magic. I was watching the new Spike Lee Netflix film, The Five Bloods, and I just kept thinking, wow, I wish I could see some of these action sequences more like they're meant to be seen. But I've been working steadily. There's still, as you can tell, a lot of movies. Hamilton is getting, a million times more press than it might have otherwise because of this brilliant piece of timing. But the theater thing, that is torture. I think Broadway is one of the artistic lifeblood of not just New York, but the whole country. And when it's not up and running, it's something just sort of feels off,
Yeah. Help me figure out with movie theaters, how are they going to survive? If you can only put 25% when they do open up, if you can only put 25% in a movie theater, if you can only put 50 people in a movie theater, how are they going to stay in business? And do you think that we'll go back to that, or do you think that everyone's going to build a movie theater in their house and never go into an AMC or a gigantic theater again?
Well, this is definitely the worst possible timing for movie theaters to take such a big hit as they have, because they were already struggling, right? The sort of movies that we used to go see in, the 90s and the aughts, I think in 1990, The Ghost was the #1 film in the country. And now, films like that, people just don't want to pay $17 for one ticket to go see them. They want to see pretty much just Marvel movies and Star Wars. So when those movies aren't coming out on those weeks, the box office takes an enormous hit. And so now getting people back in the habit of going when they're already a little bit afraid to go will be pretty impossible. So what studios are trying to do is So earlier this summer, Universal released Trolls World Tour.
Yep.
And you paid $20 and you could watch it with all your kids, right online. And it made well over $100 million. And they were so excited that they found this new source of instant revenue that they said, well, we're thinking now we're going to do this with all our movies, even when theaters are back up and running. So AMC was so mad when they said this, that AMC has banned Universal films from its theaters.
Well, Hannah, when Johnny was talking about $17 a ticket,
yeah,
I thought it was $17 for the popcorn.
Well, that's also true. That's where they make all of their money. All right, Johnny Olisinski, you can read his columns online or definitely at the New York Post, where you can pick up finer newsstands everywhere. Johnny, you can also follow at Johnny OMG on multiple social media, and we will have his interview up on our social media, which is Hannah Fred Show. Johnny, thank you for your time. We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks, I am quite sure. Enjoy the rest of your trip, and stay tuned. Fred and I are apparently playing the grand prize game coming up after this break.
Like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing.
Give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here. When it's time to eat, there's nothing more comforting than comfort food you don't have to cook. So get a $20 fill-up from KFC. Choose from 8 pieces of original recipe, extra crispy chicken, or 12 tenders. It comes with all the fixins to feed your whole family. Order ahead at KFC.com. KFC drive-thrus are still open. Or stay in and get contactless delivery by Grubhub. With buckets of love, Colonel Sanders. Limited time only at participating locations only. Prices may vary. Tax and substitutions extra. Delivery service and additional fees apply.
Guys, by now, you've heard the great news. If you've wanted to try Viagra or Cialis, but were worried about the price, U.S. Pharmacy can finally give you the results you've been looking for. Why pay almost $15 per pill when you get the same results you need for less than $2? That's right. Call today and receive 66 blue pills or 66 yellow pills for only $99 plus shipping. That's less than $2 per pill and saves you hundreds from your local pharmacy. Why wait? Call 855-953-1840 and finally have those moments you've been looking for. Again and again. Call 855-953-1840 right now and we'll rush your order, discreetly packaged to your door. Just call 855-953-1840. That's 855-953-1840. Call 855-953-1840.
Do you know that Chicagoans are getting healthier all the time? This is Peggy, and I know this is true because for 8 years I've been publishing Natural Awakenings, Chicago's greenest and healthiest magazine. And if you want your message to reach this growing market, you need to get your business in front of our readers. Why? Because our advertisers tell us that our targeted readers are committed to improving their health and they're ready to take action. That's more than 80,000 people in Chicago who will respond to your message. They're looking for holistic wellness practitioners, doctors, dentists, nutritionists, health coaches, yoga, even home improvement and landscape experts. Natural Awakenings is a free monthly magazine available in more than 1,100 locations throughout Cook, Lake, and McHenry counties. Call me today to expand your market and grow your business. 847-858-3697. That's 847-858-3697. Natural Awakenings. Feel good, live simply, laugh more.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here, and I never exaggerate when it comes to fried chicken. But KFC Original Recipe Fried Chicken is the most delicious chicken in the history of the universe. And now you get 2 pieces of my 11 herbs and spices masterpiece as a 2-piece $5 fill-up with mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink. Or if that's not your thing, you can get one of my other $5 fill-up meals. Get a $5 fill-up delivered or at a KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Tax extra. Delivery service and additional fees apply.
You're listening to Smart Talk on AM 1590, 95.9 FM, the Smart Talk app, and WCGORadio.com.
Well, it's circus time again on the Hannah and Fred show. Welcome back, everybody. We've obviously, for those of you who have listened or are going to listen later on the podcast, we had Rich Kozan, who's known as Svengoolie, and Joey Dioria, who is one of the two most famous bozos in the history of the bozo franchise. So one thing Hannah and Nancy, our producer, about the show is, at least in the Chicago market, they played this game called the Grand Prize Game, where they would go to the bozo pewter, and they would pick out,
and there would be arrows.
There would be the magic, and there would be the magic arrows that Ned Locke would point to, and they'd pick out a boy, and they'd pick out a girl who could basically stand. If you could stand on the line without walking over the line and toss the ping pong balls into the bucket, you could win some really good prize. You could really win some cool prizes.
So it was called the Grand Prize Game, but then everybody still calls it bozo buckets.
Wait a minute. Nobody calls it bozo buckets.
No, maybe, okay.
What show have you been watching? But no, they've always called it the Grand Prize Game.
But the vernacular in the street, the kids always called it bozo buckets. So
I don't know what street you were living on, but no street that I was living on did they call it the bozo buckets. But let's agree to disagree on that particular subject.
Okay.
So I thought it would be fun to play the Grand Prize Game, or as Hannah likes to refer to
Bozo
it
buckets.
as bozo buckets.
Yes.
So I've got some questions that are related to the 4th of July, and Nancy, feel free to participate if you like. So I'm going to ask these questions, and Hannah, you just get ready to toss the ping pong ball into the bucket as you answer.
Well, the first one's always a gimme. Not for everybody, but it was always a gimme for most of the kids.
Okay, if you can't get this, Hannah, you're going to be. If you can't get this, it's going to be the Nancy and Fred show. so just listen, and I'll give you a hint. I'm going to give you a hint so you get this right.
Okay.
The hint is Mickey. Okay, and here's the question: Who is the largest consumer of fireworks in the world, other than the Department of Defense?
I think I've told you this. It's Mickey. It's Disney. It's the Walt Disney Corporation. Yes.
You got it. Can we get a sound effect? A ding, ding, ding sound effect? Because Hannah got that right.
With the amount of fireworks shows throughout the day and then at night at all over the parks around not only our country and globally, it's no surprise.
Okay, that was a gimme. Here we're going to go to another one though. Which is the hardest color of fireworks to produce?
Red.
And why? Nancy, do you have an answer to that?
I'm going to say green.
I'm going to say you're both wrong.
Okay. Is it blue?
It is blue. Yeah. And so it's blue because blue, thank you for the sound effect. Blue is because they have to have a certain amount of copper in the compound. And
which is very expensive.
And the copper gets so hot that it kind of fades away the blue. So blue is the hardest color to come up with when
that
you
was
see
deep.
fireworks.
That was buried deep in my knowledge banks.
That was, of course, of course it was. In the same knowledge base that Bozo Buckets was in. Okay, but let's move on to a third question.
Okay.
So you may be aware
Disney
or not
Plus,
aware.
Hulu, and ESPN Plus now bundled together.
There we go. Okay, now that wasn't me.
Just a little plug for Disney.
Disney
there.
Plus. Yeah.
So you might be or might not be aware that fireworks, by their shapes, have different names.
Yes.
Are you aware of that fact?
Yes.
Name one of those names of a firework.
A peony, a chrysanthemum, a willow, a waterfall. I've got 4. That's 4.
Okay, that's sickening that you would know that. Because when I was doing my research on this today, I didn't have a clue. I just knew the big one was the cool one where they all explode.
You like the peonies,
yes. Yes, and yet you have in your mind of knowledge that only you're going to use on the Hannah and Fred show. You have the entire list of the different kinds
well, I've got 4.
of
That's
fireworks.
That's not,
It's good enough.
Yes.
Did you say willow?
I did say willow. Those are the ones that go up and then they go, woo.
All right. Well, I'm ripping that card up, but now we're gonna move on to. I hope I didn't rip up a card.
No, and here's the. Here's
Go
the
ahead.
thing about them is when you realize what the names of them are, it's so obvious because the peonies are the big ones that are round that look like peonies. They have colors going in every direction, and then chrysanthemums are a little bit more scattered but still round. It makes sense, the names.
Well, thank you for that, Miss Scientific.
Yes.
Let's move on to the fourth question in the grand prize game. By the way, you don't win any prizes, so
I didn't
so
think
just
I-
I just
yeah.
want to get that
No
straight.
surprise there.
So, so what 3 states ban consumer fireworks?
Illinois. No?
No,
Illinois
but keep
not one?
going.
I thought Illinois was one of them.
Not according to my
I'm
research
going to say
list.
Arizona, New Mexico, and California.
So my thousands of researchers that help me
Yes.
with my research
Uh-huh.
each week for the show have told me that New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Delaware are
Really?
the two.
See,
are
I
the
was
3
thinking that it because of the desert conditions, because of drought. So, I bet,
Yeah,
but
that's, that's the wrong
but
answer.
fireworks
but
are illegal in Illinois. We can't have them. It didn't stop
Yeah,
anybody
that's
in the
true.
suburbs
That's
last
true.
night. No one, everybody had.
No, and that does bring up a serious subject.
Yeah.
So Svengooli's executive producer, Jim Roach,
Mm-hmm.
told me earlier that he was pretty much up all night because he's got a dog, a little dog named Cecil, who was
Yes.
freaked out all night because people were blasting
It
off
is my
less than
least-
professional science, less than professional fireworks.
No, even when we do have the professional shows, it is challenging for dogs, people with PTSD. Really, it's a hard holiday. It's my least favorite next to Halloween. I love Halloween and I love the 4th of July, but the stress that it causes the dogs is really, really challenging. So next year we'll have to look into puppy Prozac or something. Is that it? How did I do? I missed the second bucket.
You did miss the second bucket, but because you came up with the names of the different shapes
Of multiple, I bought myself back into
multiple,
the game. All
I
right.
think you're a big winner. So thank you for that. So Hannah, one of the things that we're going to talk about on next week's show
Mhm.
is a certain sport called baseball is about to come back.
That's
Is
what I've
about to come
heard.
back. We think, although
think.
I think I saw a news. I did see a news message today that there's some White Sox players that have been infected, and there are some players on teams that are infected. So just because we're saying it that that baseball's going to come back, it might not come back.
Yeah,
But
the NBA
we
is
are-
also considering they have a plan, but again, things are shifting every minute. And by the way, did you know that we're in a book? We're in a book.
No, I didn't know that. in a
Hannah
book.
and
But
Fred
before
are
you-
in a book.
Well, we got to get 5,000 copies of that book. But before you tell us about that, and
Yes.
with less than a minute left,
Yes.
Andy Mazer, who has
Yes.
now just become one of the voices in radio of the White Sox,
Yes.
is going to be with us next week. So he's going to give us
He
he's
is
going to give us
a
details.
wonderful
and
human, and I'm excited to get the inside information because apparently all of the broadcasters have been told that they will not be traveling with the teams. They will be broadcasting either from their home stadium booth or from like a radio studio like us watching it on TV. It's a little bit strange to have that be the level. But yes, Hannah and Fred are in a book, and we are going to have the author of that book on next week as well. Thanks for tuning in. Hannah Fred Show, at Hannah Fred Show. You can find us everywhere. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
We have something for you. CNBC.com/small business. The latest on